conditions. Money may not grow on trees, but many of the remedies you pay money for do. Conditions. Money may not grow on trees, but many of the remedies you pay money for do. Conditions. Money may not grow on trees, but many of the remedies you pay money for do. 3, you'll find a gorgeous plant that regulates thyroid hormones, helping people with hypothyroidism increase their energy levels and lose weight. You will also find a plant that has a high concentration of chromium. Several studies have now demonstrated that chromium controls the metabolic action of insulin. One of them showed that a 10-month treatment with chromium in 833 patients with type 2 diabetes significantly reduced their fasting glucose levels beginning with the first month. Chromium is extremely rare nowadays because of the food processing methods that remove most of the naturally occurring chromium from foods. Maybe this is one of the reasons why type 2 diabetes is so common today, but 100 years ago, it was a rarely occurring disease. While our grandparents consumed almost every part of this plant, today it has become invisible to most Americans. On page 61, you'll discover the plant commonly used as chicken feed that shrinks and heals varicose veins over time. Allergies are not to be taken lightly. It's a warning sign that your immune system is not acting the way it should. On page 169, you'll find a plant called butterbur. This plant is so special because it contains antihistamines. So you would reasonably assume that it has the same effect as antihistamines found in allergy medication, right? Wrong. When butterbur was compared in a randomized controlled trial with cetirizine, the active ingredient in Zyrtec, although the results were the same, butterbur didn't produce the sedative side effects associated with cetirizine. Same results, no money, fewer side effects. Basically, you're paying for the side effects. If you ever have to go out foraging, will you know which one of these plants is edible, which one is a remedy for high blood pressure and tension, and which one is poisonous? The Native Americans knew all too well, and probably our grandparents did too. But very few people nowadays could give the correct answer. As a survivalist, I can tell you that this kind of skill will set you apart from your group during dark times, and will probably turn you into their guide, or even their savior. I'm sure that you've seen this plant too. It grows in most forest glades. You'll discover how to use it effectively to treat not only common colds, but lung infections as well. Also, breathing in the steam from leaves that have been boiled in water will immediately calm any asthma attack. This is probably why 100 years ago, people with asthma didn't die from it. On page 200, you'll also discover a plant called Pipsissewa, which in Cree means to break up into small pieces. That's because of its ability to break up and dissolve painful kidney stones. This plant also contains a substance called hydroquinone, which disinfects the urinary system and heals inflammation of the bladder. If you've ever walked through the edges of a woodland and gotten some sticky burrs attached to your clothing, you can bet you've just passed by this plant. The best way to deal with this annoying weed? Eat it. Native Americans use it as a sweetener 200 years ago, and it tastes better than most greens I know. What people don't know is that this plant is also a strong diuretic you can take for poor blood circulation. If you've ever felt a tingling and numbness sensation in a limb in certain positions, you probably have bad circulation, and you should consider this blood vessel cleanser. People who use it can go from dizzy and tired most of the time to having an excess of energy in a few weeks. Another plant you'll find inside is called woolly lamb's ear. Also known as backyard bandage, this weed has been used for centuries on battlefields to stop bleeding. It's been recently discovered that it's high in vitamin K, the vitamin that coagulates the blood. It's the same powdered vitamin that we gave our soldiers in World War II to pour over the wound in case they were shot. I hope you never find yourself looking down at a wound that just won't stop bleeding. But if you do, or if a loved one has diabetes or problems with coagulation or wound healing, make sure you always have this plant on hand. A plant you want to keep close for a strong heart is called kudzu. This invasive weed has one very powerful property. It expands the arteries and vessels, lowering the blood pressure and unlocking blood flow. And in doing so, besides reducing the chances of clotting and strokes in people with myocardial ischemia, it helps treat a lot of medical problems like swollen feet or cold hands. No matter where you live in America, there's a source of water nearby. And when there's water, there are cattails. If you find cattails, you'll have everything you need for survival. Water, food, shelter, and fuel. You probably already know cattails are edible, but few people know what is probably the most important thing about them, the jelly-like substance that grows between its leaves. It is very good for severe skin infections and one of the best cures for nail and foot fungus. On a different note, this gel is the only part of the cattail that is widely considered to be inedible. It's not poisonous, so why? Well, because it has a powerful numbing effect on moist tissues and has been used as a Novocaine substitute in the past. Yes, it's an anesthetic that you can use in many, many situations. When the pioneers were hit with a ravaging toothache, they would just go and get their jar of cattail ooze and rub it around their gums. The pain would subside in minutes. Another thing you'll discover in the Lost Book of Herbal Remedies is the ultimate survival tree that grows on almost every street in the US. I call it that because you can use the sap as medicine, its flowers as sleeping pills, its leaves as food, and the inner bark as cordage. You don't need much more than this to stay alive. Plus, you'll also find out about a tree you probably scraped yourself on as a child. According to a recent medical study, the flowers of this tree prevent the spreading of the prostate, breast, colon, and lung tumors, acting as a cytotoxic against cancerous cells. On page 57, you'll find a very special plant that can prevent 5 out of every 6 visits to the doctor. Maybe you heard a physician say that stress is the leading cause of cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. That's because stress doesn't let you sleep well. Deep sleep is the only time your body has to clear away dead cells and repair the damaged ones. If your inner doctor can't repair your cells properly, they'll start to mutate or change their normal behavior. This leads to so many unforeseen and dangerous consequences. You can cheat stress during the day, but at night, when you're all alone with your thoughts in your bed, it's very hard to escape it. But this plant helps you do exactly that. The sap of this plant is mildly narcotic. It is similar in the medical effect to the opium poppy, but it is much milder in its action and does not depress the central nervous system. It aids in treating sleep deprivation, anxiety, and nervous tension. Not only is this completely legal, but it is also a pretty common plant. I advise people to take it at bedtime as a simple infusion. Unlike sleeping pills, this plant is not addictive and doesn't have any known side effects. Usually, sleeping pills induce sleep by artificially lowering your heart rate, which can be very dangerous if you're a senior or have any circulation or cholesterol problems. Just remember, in the Lost Book of Herbal Remedies, you can also find healthy alternatives to almost every pill in your medicine cabinet. You'll also discover the plants that I use in my leaky gut herbal blend that form a protective layer around perforations in the gut through which toxic particles may enter your bloodstream. What you really don't want is anything that causes inflammation entering your bloodstream, as this leads to an inflammatory response that kicks autoimmune disorders into gear. The leaky gut blend not only heals the gut, but also decreases gut inflammation and helps balance your gut flora. Another plant you'll find in the Lost Book of Herbal Remedies is St. John's wort. It got that name from its uncanny ability to bloom exactly on June 24th, the birthday of St. John the Baptist. This plant has 2 major medical uses. The oil of St. John's wort is a highly effective cure for hemorrhoids. It reduces inflammation and relieves pain. Use the recipe for St. John's wort extracted oil and apply topically to the affected area. It's so simple. The tincture made from St. John's wort is probably the most powerful natural antidepressant that you can make at home. Unlike synthetic drugs such as Prozac, Celexa, Zoloft, Xanax, or Paxil, St. John's wort tincture has no side effects, and it's not addictive. We all have our ups and downs, but sometimes staying too much in a slump can cause serious health problems. The main ingredient in St. John's wort is hypericin, a substance that leads to increased dopamine levels by blocking an enzyme that would normally turn it into something else, depleting your levels of dopamine. In the Lost Book of Herbal Remedies, you'll probably also find the cures of your childhood. Folk remedies that our grandparents gave us to bring down fever, cure sore throat, banish the flu, and many more. They used only common household items that you probably have in your cupboard right this second, like the spice you add to your meals that can stop bleeding in just a matter of seconds, or the substance that kills parasites in the digestive tract, or the common household stain buster that can clear away most fungal and bacterial skin infections. This is just a tiny, small glimpse of what you'll find in the Lost Book of Herbal Remedies. Really, there's too much to say here. There are hundreds of remedies you'll find in this book. The index has literally 20 pages with just the diseases and the afflictions covered in this book. This is what 20 years of medical research and practicing natural medicine looks like. But there's more that you're going to get. If you get the Lost Book of Herbal Remedies today, you'll also take advantage of 2 exclusive gifts that will be off the table soon. First, you'll get the 80 square feet medicinal garden in your backyard. Wouldn't it be nice to walk out into your backyard and find the medicines you need growing right there? If you think about it, 80 square feet is a very small piece of land, just 12 by 6 feet. So no matter how small your backyard is, you can still grow your own natural remedies there. The second exclusive gift you'll get is called Disaster Medicine, a handbook for when help is not on the way. In a cataclysmic crisis, you can bet aid is not coming from anyone but yourself. In this bonus, you'll find the 20 most common infections and diseases that run rampant in most disasters. You'll learn how to diagnose them and how to treat them naturally using plants in the Lost Book of Herbal Remedies. In a crisis, these diseases account for more than 95% of medical fatalities. So if you choose to place the Lost Book of Herbal Remedies on your bookshelf, you'll also get these 2 exclusive bonuses that are worth $29 each for free, and unlimited access to the members area and 24/7 support. With the Lost Book of Herbal Remedies, you will also save money on healthcare. Just think how much you spend each year on drugs. The average American forks over about $800 every year on pills. I didn't want the Lost Book of Herbal Remedies to be anywhere near that. So today, you can get your own copy of the Lost Book of Herbal Remedies and the 2 bonuses for a one-time payment of just $37. The only way to get it is to click the Add to Cart button below now.